Hello viewers, welcome to the YouTube channel and you are listening to the host Sushil Shalot, that's me. I am here with my next video and this video is going to be based on indexed and match function. So index is a separate function and match is its collaborative function. So either of them can be used separately, but well, they are most known for being used together. So let's get on to this video and I'll explain you why and where this index and match video should be used. Let's get on to the worksheet here, and in this worksheet we have got a small database wherein the pizza variety and the sizes are available. The cost of each variety is quoted in the database. Now what is the index function? So index function, as you can read out on the screen, it returns a value or reference of a cell at the intersection of a particular row and column in a given range. Well, this is a typical English. Let us get on to a practical example and understand it. So what are the arguments required in an index function? In an index function, an array is required. The second thing is the row number and a column number is optional. So let's see how it's used. So I'll go over here and in this I'll go to index function. So the first thing what the index function requires here, well friends, before that I talk about the first option. The second option is the reference and I won't be talking on that in this video. Well, let's get on to the first option. So this requires array. So in this array, what do I need to uh, consider is a typical database. Here is the database I have there. So in this case, I'm going to choose the database here from the first column, that is column B here. I have numbered the columns and the rows for our understanding and ease of understanding. So once that is chosen, I lock it with function F4, give a comma. The next thing what it requires is a row number. So now if at all I like to opt for the veggie, I write row number 4. That's what we can see in the column A. The row numbers have been put in. And then I can close the parenthesis and say enter. As expected, I get veggie as written. Well, the same thing if I have to choose for index to use the row as well as column indexing, what do I do? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to choose the database over here, the array over here, lock it with function F4, and the next thing what I'll do is I will go for veggie, that is row number 4, and I need to know what is the cost or price of a small veggie pizza. So I'm going to go to the column number 2. That is what I expect it to return once the inputs are given. Now here I have given the input of the row as well as column. So as we read in the text, it is the intersection of the particular row and column in the given range will return the value here. So I'm expecting the value 150 rupees and there it is. So friends, this is how index can be used as an independent or individual function. Now, if at all I have to go to match, what is this match? So match returns a relative position of an item in an array that matches a specified value in a specified order. So in short, match is doing a lookup function or a lookup activity just similar to our earlier functions like Vlookup and Hlookup. Well, but match can work both as Vlookup and Hlookup. So basically it searches for a given string or a required value, lookup value, where it searches into the array or a database and it returns a closest or the exact match. So let us understand the syntax of match function. So basically if I go over here or if I go over here and choose here, what is it? So in a given database, I can choose to give the function as match. Now what do I need to match? Now in this case the lookup value is, for example, I want to match this value veggie. So that is h2 here we have readily available, so I chose it. Where to look it for? So the lookup array has to be chosen from a given array. So basically if I opt to choose over here and I am expecting the value of the veggie pizza small variant to be displayed on screen here. Will it do that? Let's check. So now the two things were must and the third thing is match type. So the third thing when I go here, it gives me a choice to give 0, 1 or -1. So 0 returns the exact match, 1 returns less than value and -1 returns greater than value. So here I'll explain you the 1 and minus 1 option later in this video, but let me go give the value 0 here, that I need to have the exact value, that is exact match, that is the pizza value is veggie and I need the cost of it. Will this match function return me that? Well, let me tell you before I enter, no, it is going to return us error. I am purposely doing it so that we understand what is the requirement of match function. There it is, the error of not applicable has come up. It gave me this error. The reason being that first thing, now it was looking out for the value of veggie in the given array. Let me tell you, the match function works exclusively with a single row or with a single column at a given time. It cannot work with a matrix of multiple rows and columns. So what I need to do here is I need to give the value here from B2 to B7, and it will only return me the value of the row number in which the cell or the value veggie is found. So exact value of veggie is found in row number 4, as we can see on the left side on our database where I marked the columns or the row numbers, and there it is. When I enter it, I get the value 4. The same way, I can use a match function to find out a given value in a given array of columns. So now here, if I want to find out the value of veggie or say 150, where do I find out? Well, the h3 value can be found out in a given lookup array of certain columns, and here I'm going to choose the columns as, sorry, before that I need to say what is the lookup value. So lookup value is h3. Where to find it is in the lookup array. The lookup array, now I'm going to choose here the two cells from row number 2. Those represent the columns of pizza and the quantity as small. So there it is. I should opt to lock it. It's always recommended to lock it, and then I say 0. 0 will return me the exact value. I'm going to close the parenthesis and say enter. So by default now it should return me the value 2 because the value 150 lies in the second column. Well, here it returns a wrong value. The reason being that here it searches for 150 in the given array, but the array has got only two values, that is pizza and small. So what I need to choose here is something that is lying within the cells of the array. So I'm going to choose C2 here and say enter. So now it should return the value 2. So now with these two errors that I showed you and with the correction or the impressive explanation of how it's to be chosen, you must have got how match function works. So there are two things. The match function works for the lookup value in a given array, and the array has to be a single column or a single row. Match works for a row as well as it works for a column. Now there are many functions like row. For example, if I say the function row, so row returns the value of the reference value. So now if I give a row here for the reference of say 150 in a given database, it should return me the value. So if at all I choose to use this row value, it won't be working independently, where it gives me number 3 as the value. So in the third row here, from the top, from a given database, it returns the value 150. There it is. So it gives me the value of h3. h3 is in the index of b2 to c7. So in this index, the row value returns the value in the third row. But well, in all these cases, I need, or in this index examples what I quoted, I had quoted the value of the rows and the columns which I knew. Well, friends, if at all this appears or this happens to be a darkened cell, how do I know which value 150 lies in? So there I will not be knowing the value of the row and the column. I'll say Control Z, and in such cases, or in the second example, if this database happens to be thousands of rows and columns and I need to search it where the value of 150 lies exactly, it will be difficult to use the function of row in conjunction or nested with index, and hence index and match turn out to be a good combination whenever it is used in Excel. Now, one more thing I'd like to bring to your notice when I'll be explaining index and match together, that either the column or the row array chosen in the match should always be equal to the index array. Well, let's get on to example here now with the basics and fundamentals now known about index and about match function. Let me give you a good example or a quick quote of how to use index here. So let me go over here afresh and say is equal to index. Now if I use this index, I opt to choose the values over here. Basically, I'll go ahead with the value of right to left. So now I'm going to choose the index value. Index value for an array should always represent what is expected. So now in this case, what I'm going to do is, I suppose I have got 260 or 275 rupees in my pocket. What can I purchase from this amongst the medium size pizza? This is what I'm going to search out. So now 275 is the value I'm going to match and look up in this area. So now with this index array, I'm going to say, or let me choose the index array including the title here. With that, I'm going to lock it, function F4. Next thing is, now I'm going to use the match function here. What do I need to match? So now I need to match a value which I need to find out in the given array. So the lookup value here is say 275. I'm going to quote it. It's a numerical value, so I'm not going to put it into double inverted quotes. I'm going to say comma. This is the value I need to look up. Now the lookup array. As I said, the lookup array can be a single column or can be a single row. Now if I choose over here the choice as only starting from cell D3 to D7, it should give me an error. The reason being that here I'm choosing a array column which is not equal in size or equal in cells to the index array. Well, I'm purposely doing this mistake so that you understand it. The second thing, now here if I put up 0 here, it should return me the exact value. So let me put 0 here and close the parenthesis and say enter. Now as I said, it is returning me the error of not applicable for two reasons. The first reason, the array length chosen for the match function is not equal to the index function. Now I have made it equal. I say enter, but still it returns not applicable. The reason being that here in the match function, I have put in the value here as 0. So it will choose for exact match of 275 and there is nothing matching to 275 here. So it returns the value 0, not applicable. If at all I choose to search for a value say 280, it should return me the value as veggie and there it is. So this way I can choose to search for a value of 280 which lies on the right side of the lookup array, that is on the left side here, and still I get the return value of the expected cell, and that is veggie. As I had spoken in the beginning that this is something different index and match than the VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP. Now I will tell you what exactly was different. But before that, let me talk about the +1 and -1 options here. Now, if at all, if I have to use the value here as say earlier as I said, if I only had 275 rupees and I need to know what do I can purchase with this 275 rupees from the medium size pizza. Well, let me go over here again into the formula bar and in the formula bar, let me put up the value as +1. It should enter, it should return the value which I can purchase, which turns out to be in cost lesser than 275 rupees. Does it? Will it? Let us see. Well, it returns the value as farmhouse and there it is. The farmhouse value is 260. There it is. I got the value as farmhouse with 275 rupees. In this given array, I get a return value of 260 rupees which is lesser than 275, so that with 275 rupees I can purchase the farmhouse pizza. Well friends, why doesn't it return the value as Mexican? Because that too is lesser than 275. The reason being that let me tell you that this is not a sorted database. Had it been a sorted database, it would have returned the correct value as Mexican. So friends, when you are choosing the choices of 1 or -1 from the options here, you need to go over to the relevant array data and sort it ascending or descending. So now here I'm going to sort it in the ascending order, and I put it ascending. It says expand the selection. Yes, do expand it, and I say sort. As soon as I do sort, I get the correct value of 270 rupees being the nearest value to 275, that is lesser than 275, and corresponding pizza here is Mexican. And friends, here it is, we get the correct value of the Mexican pizza here as the output corresponding to a value 270, that is lesser than 275. That is what I have in my pocket, and I can purchase this pizza at the most from the available variety of medium pizza. Well, what happens? I'll say escape over here, and I'll go back saying Control Z. What happens if at all I decide to opt to sort this value in the reverse order, that is largest to the smallest, that is descending order? There it is. I go over here, I say expand the selection and say sort. As soon as I do sort here, it returns me an error here as 1. That means it is not finding any of the matches relevant to my value, and that's all what I can return. But here, if you see here, I had used the choice of -1 and I got the value of veggie using the same database. Well, let me go over here and make this value -1 and see what does it return. There it is, I'm putting minus, that is greater than. So something that is greater than 275 is 280, and that's why it returned me the value of veggie, which corresponds to the value of something that is greater than 275 here, and this is the corresponding pizza that I can purchase, and that's why I get this value of veggie here. So friends, with this explanation, I'm sure you must have understood what is the significance of +1 option and -1 option. I'll go back to Control Z over here and retain the original database here. Well, I think we are back to our original database. Now in case I have been using this to explain you how it can be index and match can be used from right to left. Let me emphasize on the fact that index and match can be used from left to right as well as from right to left. Let me go to another example where I'm going to explain you how to use it from left to right. Well, for that what I have done here is I have opted to create two databases here with the drop downs. The first one here, the drop down reveals the pizza variety, and here it reveals the pizza size. Well, now I'm going to make use of these two cells and find out the index and match function here. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use index nested with match. Now in this index, what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose the database here. I'm going to choose the complete database here. Now choosing the array for index is itself a skill one should understand through experience that what database is to be chosen. This database always has to be the area wherein the value of the expected output or the result is required. So well, what I have chosen right now is not essential. I'll be choosing only this portion which will return me the value or the cost of the pizza. So I'm going to lock it with function F4, give a comma. Next thing is I'm going to use the match function. In this match function, what I'm going to choose, the first thing is I'm going to choose this match function for the correct row number to be chosen. So now what do I need to search is the first thing, the lookup value. The lookup value will be chosen from this cell wherein the pizza name will pop up. The next thing, what do I need? I'm going to lock this with function F4. Next thing what I'm going to choose here is, or give the argument here is, the portion or the region or the lookup array over here. Now mind well, I have chosen the lookup array as the column B part, that is from row number 2 to row number 6 of our given database here, and it matches to the array value of number of rows in the index, what index database what we have chosen. I'm going to lock it with function f4, give comma, and now I'll expect exact value, that is 0. I'll close this parenthesis. So now this is going to give me this match value will match with the row number and return the row number there. The next thing, now I need to find out the intersection value of this row with the corresponding column. So for here, I'm going to use the match function again. There it is. I'm going to choose match. What I'm going to look up value here is I'm going to look up the size value of the pizza from this cell. I lock it first. Then from where do I search it? Now I'm going to search it from the titles here or this row, small, medium and large. So it will match the value from the cell J5, compare it with the cells C2 to E2 and then return me the value of the corresponding row number, and the intersection of the first match row and the second match column will reveal me the cell for which in the index database I should get the cost value of that pizza. So there it is. Now I'm going to give comma and say exact comparison or exact match. Give close parenthesis, and with this I'm going to say enter. So there it is. Now it is returning me the value not applicable error. The reason being that these two cells are empty and hence index and match function cannot return you a expected value with the return with the empty database. So what I'm going to do is where I'm going to go and choose for veggie pizza and the size I wish to have the medium size. So here it is. Fantastic. It has returned me the value of rupees 280 is what is the cost of veggie pizza with the medium size. There is the intersection of the column and the row. It returns me the value of 280. Well, friends, now the next thing is I will choose something else now. I go for say pepper, pepper paneer and medium size. There it returns the value 300 rupees. Now, friends, if at all someone is purchasing the pizza from his own pocket, certainly he will look out for this chart of the cost, and then only based on his expense limits he will purchase the pizza. But well, if it is a party going on and you don't have to pay for it, you don't need to know what is the cost of this pizza. So by default, a person who likes pepper paneer pizza will choose large size pizza. By default, it is free in a party, isn't it? It's human nature to go for the largest one. And so that person will go and choose the large one. But well, it returns the value not applicable, not available. Friends, this is how the index and match function returns the value of the result. It returns the value of number as well as text. Correct? So mind well, it is always necessary to know what we choose from and how we choose from. So here if I give a value of +1, let us see what it gives back. It will say not applicable because it does not find anything that is available nearest to that. Friends, if I go over here and go and choose say farmhouse, I am very much fond of farmhouse pizza and I want to eat a large size pizza, this will return me the value. So in case if at all this database is not available, like many times when we do the ordering at the online database, many times we are expected by the service provider to choose our choice of size and our variety, and then it reflects the value or the cost. This is how the things work. So now friends, I have explained you how the index function works, how the match function works, how the index and the match function together in collaboration in nesting works, how one can go for a choice of only a match function for a row, or how one can go for a match function working for a row as well as a column. There it is. So with this example, I hope I have been very much clear in explaining you how the index and the match function works. This is quite a simple database and easy. The larger the database, the better you will have to have your commands and your experience on this. Now friends, let me undo this darkening and explain you what is the basic difference between VLOOKUP and index and match. Always people who are fond of using index, who start from the basics and grow on in their skills, first learn VLOOKUP and then they get habituated with VLOOKUP. They feel comfort zone with VLOOKUP and hence they find index and match a little difficult in the beginning. But well friends, I will advise you try to use index and match function more and more. One day you will understand it has got a lot of benefits over VLOOKUP. Let me go over here. I have given or I have made a VLOOKUP function example here. So here I have chosen the value of B3, that is the pizza margherita, and its cost for the larger function. I will do it again for our understanding. So I'll go over here and I'll say VLOOKUP. What do I need to look up is the first value, say now I'll choose the cell margherita from here, comma, where to look up for in this database, right? So there it is. I'm going to give comma column index. I need to know the value of the largest pizza, so that is column number 4, and then I need the exact match, so 0. There it is. Nothing new. Already I have explained you how to use VLOOKUP in my earlier video and you must be knowing by now. So there it is. I use the VLOOKUP. If at all I choose the index and match function here, what do I get here? So now I'll go over here. I'm going to use this function here or this cells here. So margarita enlarge what I'm going to look for, and there it is. The value of 350 appears here directly. So well, there is no difference in the output what we get by using VLOOKUP and index and match separately. But well, if you notice, this VLOOKUP only works from left to right and not from right to left. This is the first handicap of VLOOKUP. The second handicap here is if I go over here and I choose to introduce a cell here. So if I go here, I know now what I have chosen is from here, and over here in the match function, the destination lookup values have been from this as well as from this. Okay. Now, if at all I introduce a column here, if I go here and say insert, or over here I go and say insert, what difference it makes here? You can see it quite well. The value here of the margherita pizza and large pizza has been shifted to over here, and mind well, this is not what was expected by us. We were expecting the margherita pizza with the large option. And here if you see it still continues to return the correct value of 350 here. Well, what happened? What made this difference? Friends, let me go to the details of this VLOOKUP function and explain you what happened. So now VLOOKUP basically it returns the value from the fourth column here. And now what was the fourth column earlier has turned out to be the fourth column over here. So now what has happened is this has got shifted, and there it was. This turned out to be the fifth column. There it is. So this is another disadvantage or handicap of using VLOOKUP. So if someone has changed or inserted a column here, he or she will have to go over here and change this value from 4 to 5, and then you will get the correct value. This is another advantages. Rather than counting the shortcomings of VLOOKUP, I will call it as an advantage of using index and match. Let me go to the next worksheet here and explain you what are the benefits and what are the notes that I have prepared for index and match. So now as I said, I just repeat it. Index and match works left to right like lookup, VLOOKUP function, and right to left unlike VLOOKUP function. This is the biggest advantage. The second thing what I am reading out here is inserting columns and rows into index and match database does not cause issue unlike as it does in VLOOKUP. Fine. So these are two biggest advantages of index and match. Well, in the notes now, I'm just going to read it out fast or just speak it out fast. Match array should be the same as the index array from the cells considered. Well, I've given you the demo already. This is only a revision. Match is similar to VLOOKUP or HLOOKUP. Only major difference is that match requires only one single row or column input. It does not work with a matrix of array of multiple rows and columns. We already saw it. in our demo on our earlier worksheet. Match with -1 can be used with descending values in the array. That means if it is a column or if it's a row, one can sort out in descending values. If it is numerical, it will be descending. If it is alphabetic, it will be Z to A. Well, the same thing for the plus value, the match, nothing different. Only thing is the array should be ascending there. Well, with these two worksheets, I will take you another worksheet of our database which we had used in our earlier demonstrations, wherein we had chosen here we had made the dependent drop down menus, and with this continent and country we were finding out from this database over here as to which city had hosted the Olympic and in which year. Here we had used the Dget function and I explained you the shortcoming of Dget. What I have done here is for our understanding I use the same database, but here I use in this cell the value output or the result value output with the index function, and there it is the formula of in the formula bar I have written the function index and match nested together. So I have used the database A1 to D35, that is the complete database. I have used the match function for the rows with the cell K19, that is the country name. If I go over here and I double click it, it will reveal us the values what I have chosen. So there it is with the country name as South Korea. Here indicate this was the search array. Here in index and match, the search value was the country name here in the database over here. So the country name was chosen or searched over here in this row. The correct row was chosen, whereas the city name, that is over here, was searched out from over here, and what was returned was the city name from here. So this is how the syntax worked over here. So the intersection of the row representing the country name and the city column has returned the city name. So here we see the example of comparison between dget and index. So why I'm showing you this example, not to explain you how good is index and match, but its advantage over dget. Dget had a problem that when any of the country or any of the cell repeats in the database, it does not reveal the correct value. So if I choose the continent Australia and the country Australia, Australia has hosted the Olympics twice in the last century, and you see it does not reveal the value of the city and the year. Whereas when we use the index and match function, it returns the value of Melbourne in 1956. Let's go over here and cross check it. So I'm going to switch on the filter here, and Australia, Melbourne city had hosted it in 1956 and Sydney city had hosted it in 2000. So friends, I'll go back over here, and in this database we see the first appearance of the city, and it returns index and match returns the correct value of the year and the city name here. Well, you may be wondering, cannot index and match be used to return multiple values like Melbourne and Sydney, two cities, 1956 and year 2000, two different years? Well, yes, it can be used, but I'm not going to cover it in this part of the video. I hope this video has been very interesting for you. Let me go and give you another demo over here. Now another country, that is Asia or continent Asia. Japan has hosted it twice. So let us go over here and see Japan. So we see the dget returns num error for the city name and the year, whereas index returns index and match returns the total database over here with the correct value of city and the year. So friends, I'll request you to practice index and match. It's not that as easy as you are watching in this video. It requires practice and experience as to how to apply it. But once you do it, well, you'll forget Vlookup. Take my word. With this, I'm coming to the closure of this video. I hope you have liked this video. Certainly, it was worth liking. So now, let us go back to our channel And I request you to go back to this channel page and express your likes for this index and match video. Also express your comments. Your word of praise will be encouraging for me for the next videos to bring new enlightenment for us in our learning process. In case if you are new to this channel and if you are not subscribed the channel, do make a point to subscribe it. Take my word, I'm repeating, do make a point of subscribing it for a lot of other videos which I don't wish you to miss out. I'll be soon back with my next video. Till then, stay safe and enjoy. Bye bye.